I'm Justin Tyler.
P. LePage.
And we're here with Bruce Timm and Andrea Romano. Thanks for coming and joining us up here in the Skybox, guys.
You bet.
Nice to be here.
It's an honor to have you guys. So the first one, it just came out, the more recent one, and then we have another one coming shortly.
Two parts.
Yeah, two parts.
Big story.
Yeah.
Two parts.
Big
So
story.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
How I feel about part one.
I loved it.
Yeah,
I
good,
loved it.
good.
You know, it takes a long time to make these pieces, so I'll record the initial voices, and then many, many months pass, and then the animation comes back, and then we do ADR, and then many, many months pass, and it comes out. And I see it, and it's almost like a brand new thing for me. It is. And so I can actually have an opinion about it that way as a viewer, and it's darn good.
Yeah, right.
Darn good.
Awesome. And how does the because you handle the voice actors for most of it. How does that work in choosing the people? Because I know you have like Kevin Conroy has done a lot of it, the animated series and whatnot. And then
He speaks very highly of you.
Oh yes.
Thank you.
Indeed.
Thank you. That's a mutual admiration society there.
How do you choose from your different Batmen, your different Jokers, and your different people?
The material kind of dictates a bit of it. If it's a very young Batman, then we need a young voice. If it's a very old Batman, we want a more grizzled, older voice. And so we kind of get the directive as to whether or not we can use Kevin Conroy or whether we need to look for other voices. And then it's never just me or just Bruce. It's a large committee of people that suggest actors that maybe from whatever shows they're watching or films they like or just actors they know. And then we all kind of make a list in order of who we like to approach first. And sometimes you get through 5 or 6 actors before they're available, interested.
Almost sounds like a draft, like
Kinda.
sports.
It is a little bit like a draft.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because in the case of Dark Knight, we had actually had a different actor cast for Bruce Wayne Batman.
Oh, wow.
And came this close to recording him, and he had to bail at the last minute.
Oh, wow.
And honestly, he wasn't my favorite anyway, so I was kind of happy. So we had to go back to square one and kind of like rethink, so now who we're going to go after next. And meeting with Andrea and myself and Jay Oliva, the director, and throwing out different names. And at one point I said, God, it's kind of cool because the story took place back in 1980, or it was originally done in 1986, and enough time has passed now that if there was somebody who was like a big star, like a big action star, like in the 80s, who would be about the right age for Bruce Wayne now, we were throwing out different ideas like, oh, Chuck Norris, no, he's not right. So-and-so, he wouldn't be right. And I think it's Jay Oliva, the director, who said, Peter Weller. And I just went, my head just exploded. It's like, he'd be perfect. I mean, not only is he was RoboCop and he was Buckaroo Banzai, two of my favorite sci-fi movies of the 80s, but he's just perfect. And I was actually a little bit on the fence. My only concern about him was I thought, well, in my head I kept thinking of his voice as being a little bit lighter. And I mentioned that to Andrea, and she'd been watching him on Dexter, and so she sent me this YouTube clip of him from Dexter, and he definitely sounds a little bit older and a little bit gruffer, and it was just
what we
done
needed.
deal.
That's amazing.
Awesome.
Perfect.
I guess you can sort of you get it anywhere. Like people don't even really audition; you just hear their voices in different.
We do not audition the big parts.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah. No, we take a gamble sometimes and go, well, yeah, we never worked with this person before, but we think he'd be cool, and we take a chance and we hire them, and they come in and they're either good or they're not.
Yeah,
Right.
and
Peter
I
was
always
awesome.
check with the agents too, and to say,
True.
how is this actor to work with? And believe it or not, there are agents who will say about their celebrity clients,
Don't hire this person.
Don't hire them.
Really?
It won't be a good experience for you.
Wow.
So I appreciate that always. But Peter was terrific. I mean, exactly the right voice for what we needed. So it was meant to not happen that the other actor couldn't do that.
That's great. Well, then real quick then, I'm Batman.
It's the acting. It's the acting.
I did. I used my arm there.
Yes, I need a little bit more than that to actually get
Well, that was only my first read, so I'll put
Okay.
together. I'll do 3 in a row.
All right.
And
3 in a row. How do you know that?
I'm actually I do voiceovers for commercials. Anyway,
There you go.
Unrelated.
That's funny.
So the voices. That's the first thing you do. You lay down the voice tracks, right, and then it.
Right after the script.
Yes, yes. I mean, we actually when we record the dialogue, we're actually already in production on the movie. We're actually everything's kind of all happening at the same time. We're storyboarding it and doing the design work. But yeah, the voice work is done, and then the animation is animated to the voice work.
Right, and then you go back and maybe
We'll tweak things afterwards because sometimes just for whatever reason, the way we recorded the dialogue just doesn't work with the way how the visual came out.
And because we don't always record those actors in the room together, one person may be speaking in this tone, and the other one's talking like this, and you need to make it sound like they're actually speaking.
Doesn't happen very often. We're both really good at I mean,
I'm astounded at how often we get that
it's
right.
Really true.
It's really true. Because it could be a real nightmare. You have to record entire scenes. For example, in this first film, Dark Knight Returns Part 1, there's that wonderful scene at the beginning with Gordon and Bruce Wayne in the restaurant, and they recorded weeks apart from each other, and they sound just like they were talking to each other.
That always amazes me.
Yeah.
And do you ever do it put them together?
Oh, sure.
We prefer to do it that way.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And we always hear actors say how nice that is to have everybody.
Oh, well, a big part of acting is reacting.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, I do the best I can to read the actors into the line so they can actually act against me, but when they can act against each other.
Oh, so that's why it's so good, is because you're in the room.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, I work with them. I mean, I do that. But what was the piece that we did with, it was a Green Lantern piece that we actually had both actors together in New York. It was, this is terrible. I can't remember. Christopher Maloney and Victor Garber as Sinestro and Green Lantern. And that was wonderful to have the two actors there together working. And rarely does it happen that the two actors, celebrity actors, are available at the same time. And that made a big difference. A lot less having to redo things and stuff. But then we talk about doing the work later as well to picture all the fight stuff, and certainly these pieces have enormous amounts of fight stuff. You can estimate what it's going to be like, and you can get some sounds, but to do it to picture,
it has to be done.
It's just so much better.
Yeah.
It's so specific, and a lot of companies will use what they call a library, and they'll do 10 throwing punches, 10 getting hit in the gut, 10 getting uppercuts, all that kind of thing. But to actually do it specifically to each shot, I think adds.
It makes it more real.
It really does.
Yeah.
It really does.
Yeah, it seems, hearing you say about of course, it seems so, but yeah, I can see.
Well, we did it specifically, just a recent project that we did was a Catwoman short, which was a very simple story, but a big part of it was a big, long, drawn-out fight between Catwoman and the villain. And Eliza Dushku played Catwoman, and we wore her out doing the ADR. I mean, because it was probably 2 hours worth of fight wall.
Wow.
An acrobatic fight wall.
Short fight.
She's got to flip and do a handspring and land on her feet and throw a kick and flip away.
But the thing is it made that movie work. I mean, that little short, because I mean, it puts you in the moment in a way that if it had been either just somebody else doing it or a library of sound effects. But there was one point where she's in the front seat of this truck. The guy's driving the truck and she's fighting with him, and he's like smashing her head into the steering wheel and stuff. And it sounds real because of her performance. And like I said, if it had, like Andrea was saying, if it had just been stock sounds, like a library sounds, or if it wasn't the actual actress, it wouldn't have had the same impact. But.
And when she's in the booth, or other actors, are they like bending around?
Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
The trick is to keep them on mic, so they stay, so you can actually record it clean, because it doesn't sound like roomy.
Yeah.
But yeah, absolutely. I always need the physical stuff. And the funny thing that happens when people who haven't done this a lot is they come in noisy clothes.
Right.
And so it's like, do you have a T-shirt in the car? Because we can hear every movement you're making. You don't want to stop them from doing that. It helps when they go, huh! It really does help to do that physical.
Like ding-a-ding, ding-a-ding.
Then
Yeah, we've actually had to have actors take their shirts off.
I was going to ask. I'm glad you said that.
You have a reputation. I don't want to be the one to tell you.
We have done that. Yes.
Now, it seems like every film you guys do is so amazing, and then the next one comes out, it's even better. Do you worry, like, how are we going to keep this kind of high bar, like this high standard?
Yeah.
I mean, it's
that happens. It happens. We'll kind of go, how do we top this one?
Yeah.
And somehow we just always try.
Yeah.
Well, you did the big stuff. I mean, doing Dark Knight Returns, I feel like when that was announced, everyone was like, "Oh, okay, yeah, that's exciting," but like sort of scary for people because it's such a big story.
Yeah,
in
sure,
people's
sure.
minds and memories. And how was that intimidating? And if so, how did you
It's
deal with it?
intimidating, but you can't think about it too often. I mean, we knew that it was one of the most important Batman comics of all time. We knew that it's that people were going to be going over it with a microscope, saying, "Oh, they left out this one line of dialogue, and why didn't they do this, and why didn't they do that?" And we just kind of knew going in that there's no way you're going to make every fan happy. You just can't. So, and not only that, but all of us who were working on the movie, we were all fans of the project as well.
Right.
So we weren't going to do anything that was going to cheapen the movie or make it bad. All we could do is just make it to the best of our own ability and not worry about what people were going to say. Having said that, we did, just because out of respect for the original source material, we did refer to the comic all the time through
Yeah.
every step of the production.
Nice.
From the script to the design work to the storyboard, everything. Anytime we'd get stuck for something, we'd say, "Well, what does it look like in the comic?" Then we'd open the comic book up and we'd say, "Okay, that's what it looks like," and that's what we.
We actually used it in the recording session. I would open up to a page of the book,
really?
and the actors would say, "I don't understand what's really happening here," and I could just turn to the page and say, "This is it." And they're like, "Oh, got it.
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh, that's really cool.
On the next take, they could do it." Yeah.
And so, what's coming up next from DC Animation?
Well, the next two projects we're doing is the next one is after Dark Knight is Superman Bound, which is based
Unbound.
Or excuse me,
Unbound.
Unbound.
Right.
It was called Superman Bound.
It was
for
for
about a hot minute.
exactly.
Then, but now it's called Superman Bound. Somebody said, "Oh no, that sounds like a dirty movie."
Yeah.
And that is based on the recent Superman Brainiac storyline that Jeff Johns and Gary Frank did.
Great.
And then after that is Flashpoint, Justice League Flashpoint.
Nice.
So.
Yeah, you guys choose the big stories. It's always really nice. Do you have like a list that you're just like, okay, because there are new, like these are fairly new
The list
stories.
changes a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, there'll be things on our list that we're excited to do, and then for one reason or another don't happen. But then there's always new things.
Awesome. Well,
Thank you so much. Keep up the amazing work. You guys, every single film is phenomenal, so thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you very
that's great.
much.
And thank you guys for watching, and stay tuned for a ton more from Comic-Con.